Well, my name is Leo Rogers III. I'm a contract specialist at First Nation Group. Basically what I do is I administer all the contracts that we do have with the federal government. Right now I'm primarily responsible for 5 contracts, and that's what I do day in and day out. So, is that the...
Yeah. Can you scoot just a little bit closer to cameras?
Yeah.
Like maybe in
I feel like we were
front of
way
me.
up.
So like, I can scoot.
You know,
Yeah.
Can you hold the top up here? And you could be here. Sorry, Leo.
You good? If you need me to do anything, let me know.
No, you are good. You are. How's that? A little bit better?
I was trying to think of a time where I did anything similar to this, and I can't.
This is a new thing.
Yeah.
Welcome to our world, man.
Definitely.
It's kind of fun. Super stressful. Fun.
Yeah, things being recorded is on film and on audio. Once you say it, it's out there. That's a little nerve-wracking, I gotta be honest.
But it's out there, and then people will forget about it. Goldfish rants is what we're dealing with our society today. So.
Yeah, that's true. The attention span is short. Yeah, TikTok.
So.
God, that's a perfect example.
I don't do social media.
I am getting you just a bit.
Okay.
If you lean back, you're fine. But when you like,
Yeah, so comfortable.
You will probably not be able to sustain that.
no.
If you scoot, can you move that back closer to the wall?
We can.
Move this over just-
So we can repo both of these back a little bit. Alright, so that's there. That's there. That'll be great. I definitely posed in weirder positions for interviews, so this is great. Okay. Cool.
Cameras are set.
Copy. So once this flips. Alright. So we'll just jump right into the first question.
Can we do that one more time where you say I'm Leah Rogers III and I work for First Nation Group. I am the blank.
Okay.
So, who are you, Leo?
Jack, I'm Leo Rogers III. I'm contract specialist at First Nation Group.
Sorry, I'm going to have you start again. Just for viewers' sake, can we not address Jack by his name? And start with, my name is...
Another thing that we're going to want to do is give some gaps in between everybody's talking, so that we're not talking over each other or breathing into each other's sentences.
So, basically after I ask you a question, just take a beat, and then...
Follow.
And I'm no one, so don't address me.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because I would have said that at the beginning of every of them.
And I told you to talk to me, but yeah, don't address me as Jack.
Got it.
So we'll try that one again, and whenever you're ready, take a breath, and then we're into it.
Okay. My name is Leo Rogers III. I'm a contract specialist for First Nation Group. In this role, I'm responsible for the contracts that we have with the federal government, primarily the Department of Veteran Affairs. Right now, I'm primarily responsible for 5 contracts. That's what I do. I've been doing that my entire adult life, by the way. Not for First Nation Group, but contracts.
Great. So another thing that's going to be a little odd for you, Leo, is that I'm not going to go or agree with you, and I'll pause after you're done with the sentence, just because I can't have my voice in the audio. So if I'm being
Dead space. I got to get used to that. That's fine.
It's just for audio purposes. So you kind of explained this in the last one. What is your role in the company?
My role is I administer contracts for First Nation Group. We are primarily a supplier to the Department of Veteran Affairs and DOD, and incidentally other government agencies as well, but our primary focus is the Department of Veteran Affairs. and it's my role to administer the contracts that we have with them. Should I explain what that means a little?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to know.
Administering contracts, we have several items that we supply to the Department of Veteran Affairs, DOD, and other federal agencies. And it's my responsibility to make sure that the items on those contracts are in compliance with the contract. If there are changes, it's my responsibility to interface with my counterparts in the DOD, Department of Veteran Affairs, to make the necessary changes to those contracts. That's basically it.
Interesting. Okay, so what incited you to work for First Nation Group?
So I'm going to answer that in two ways. What got me started with First Nation Group was really a matter of logistics. We live in Florida. First Nation Group is located in Florida. I was job hunting, and I found that they had a position available. I did a little research and applied for it. Interviewed, got the job. What inspires me to stay with First Nation Group, and the reason why I'm very happy to be with First Nation Group, is what they do. You know, First Nation Group is primarily focused on veterans, right? The DOD with the active duty members as well, but primarily focused on veterans, which I am one, you know. And their whole business is surrounded by serving veterans and taking care of veterans. And in addition to that, it has a huge nonprofit mission, you know, on the side. And I have never been in a better working environment. So I decided to answer that question in two ways, because the reason I started working for First Nation was pretty convenient. Is the reason why I sought them out, but why I decided to stay is different. I love this place. I got to be honest. It's a great company.
It's kind of funny. It's like it's not funny. It's amazing. That's been like the general like theme of today. That company is just amazing.
I tell you, every single person at First Nation Group, if you did interviews with all 160 people, every single person would say the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not something that they tell you to say.
Oh, no, they don't have to.
It's like,
we love our jobs, but we definitely complain about our jobs. Nobody's complaining about their job today.
It's a really good company. I'm telling you, I've literally never been in a better working environment, because my wife is on active duty. You know, I was on active duty when we met, but she's still on active duty. We go where the military sends us, right? So I basically have to get a new job everywhere we go. And so I've worked at several places, and First Nation by far is the best.
They handle your, personal life and your home life and your family life well.
First Nation has a great sense of balance. First Nation Group has a...
Start it over. Because it's going to be so good.
Yeah. First Nation Group has a great sense of balance. Everyone there is focused on the same thing, but we understand that we're not individually by ourselves. We come with a family, and First Nation understands that. And I've had some family issues that I had to deal with since working there, and First Nation couldn't have been more accommodating to me taking care of those issues. And, I didn't feel any kind of pressure that would distract from what I had to take care of in my personal life from my job, and that made me want to do my job even better. That support for the thing that's most important to you, which is my family, from my office space, I can't describe that. When I say it's the best working environment I've ever been in, I mean that.
That's really rare in a company too. Wow. So we'll move on. I mean, you've kind of answered this question for me at least.
yes.
Why would someone want to work for First Nation Group?
The whole thing of being a for-profit company with nonprofit goals was a foreign concept to me before I started working at First Nation. It's obviously a for-profit company. You're there to make money. But what they do with that money, what they do with those profits, you are a impact on your community. First Nation has offices in Florida, Colorado, and Michigan, right? And each individual office has a nonprofit fund, where there's a budget set aside for contributing to local causes, charities, 501(c)s, and things of that nature. And the members of that individual office, those individual offices, get together and by consensus decide what causes to support. So I think that's great, right? I mean, you're obviously, in business to make money. That's what we do. But we also have a very positive impact on our surrounding communities. when I was super new to First Nation, I'm new. When I was super new to First Nation, I was immediately involved in those charity actions. And being with a company that understands that level of balance, I think anyone will want to be a part of that. That's why I think someone would want to work for First Nation, because First Nation understands more than just, making money. They understand that they have a responsibility to the community that they're in.
And that's important to you because?
That's a big question for me. Community involvement has to happen from the corporate level in order to improve the areas that it operates in. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, the inner city. And if it wasn't for certain outreach programs that reached down into my community and helped me see more than the space that I was growing up in, I'm not exactly sure where I would be in life right now. So working for a company that understands its impact on the community is very important to me for that. It had a real impact on my life.
And understands the community. Kind of piggybacking on that, why is the work you're doing important?
So I said that I've been working contracts my entire adult life. How that happened is 30 days out of high school, I joined the military. And the first job and the only profession that I've been put into is contracts. Contracts for the military is different than contracts in the commercial world. Contracts for the military is basically logistics. And the best way for me to describe that is anything when you go overseas to an operational environment, anything that you can't bring in on a C-130, you have to contract for on the local community. That was my job. Loved that job. The support that I was able to give to the people that are there with me and the basic supplies that we were able to get, that is empowering. It's a job with purpose, right? What I do with First Nation is I manage those contracts for First Nation. First Nation itself is focused on veterans. The supplies that we supply to the Department of Veteran Affairs and the DoD is all about medical supplies focused on veterans and the active duty members. It's making sure that those that are fighting for us or have signed up to fight for us are taken care of, and that's important to me. And that's why what I do at First Nation is important.
Solid answer.
Yeah, that was wonderful. So we're gonna kind of circle back. You talked a little bit about your upbringing in Detroit, but this question is: given you're from Detroit, just a few blocks from First Nations Group's distribution center, what is it like to work for a company that emphasizes on giving back so generously to the community?
Can I just jump in too real quick? Don't forget First Nation Group.
I keep saying First Nation, don't I?
Yeah, but that's okay. You're not the only one.
Did I just say it?
No,
Okay.
But Cheryl says First Nation. It's something you do internally, and everybody does it. But when we're talking externally, we want to make sure that we differentiate with that group.
Understood.
But yeah, tell me about.
Yeah, being close to Samaritan. What we did last week when we went, or last week, God, was that last month?
Yeah.
When we went to the Samaritan Center, and that center is like right around the corner from where you grew up.
It is.
And what that offers.
Where did you grow up?
Are you familiar with Detroit?
Yeah, we're there every other day.
So Jefferson and Chalmers
Okay.
is what I tell people who are vaguely familiar with Detroit. If you're very familiar with Detroit, I'm in between Mack and Warren, Lakeview, literally in the middle. My house, if you look at a map, is literally in the middle of Mack and Warren on Lakeview. It's right there, and that's where I grew up. And the house is still there. It's not occupied, but it's still there, which is saying something, for the area. All right. So,
Say the question.
please.
Given that you're from Detroit, just a few blocks from First Nation Group's distribution center, what is it like to work for a company that emphasizes giving back so generously in its community?
The Samaritan Center, when I was growing up, was a hospital. And that's how I remember it. And being an inner city kid from Detroit, there's not a lot that I saw outside of my neighborhood, to be quite honest. And it wasn't all very, very good things. When I left Detroit and saw how different things are in other places around the world, around the United States and around the world, it gave me a different perspective of my home. I'm very proud of my home. I'm from Detroit. I claim Detroit. I always will claim Detroit. But Detroit has its challenges, right? And most of the things that you hear about Detroit are about its challenges. What First Nation Group, on the first business trip they sent me on, was back to Detroit and to the Samaritan Center to meet and to work in a distribution center and to meet with some of the organizations that we support that are in the Samaritan Center. Showed me a different side of Detroit. It showed me that there are many organizations within Detroit that are working to improve it, and that's not always the thing that you get that gets the attention. And the fact that First Nation Group is so focused on helping these groups makes me very proud to be a part of First Nation. First Nation Group is another reason why I'm proud to be a part of First Nation Group. I don't know how to state it without overstating it. It's just a really good place to be.
So good.
Perfect.
That was great.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you grew up in Detroit, it was a different place than it is now.
I know, right? I thought you.
Yeah.
I knew we were
Fair
going to be an
My
actual.
dad's from Southfield.
You are too.
So I got long back Michigan roots. It's just the most amazing place. Okay, let's see. Follow-up clarification. I don't think we need to clarify that. No?
No, that was, yeah. No, I think we're good on that.
Tell me about you guys' experience utilizing a Fisher House.
I don't have direct experience with the Fisher House. I have a lot of indirect experience with the Fisher House. And I'm going to share a brief story with you to answer your question. When I first joined the military in 95, less than a year later, there was a major incident in Saudi, the Cobalt Towers bombing. A friend of mine was injured there. He got the Purple Heart. He survived. But he was injured there. He was evacuated back home. Like me, Rodney didn't have very many resources. he was kind of broke, and so was his family. So he was hurt, and in order for his family to come see him, it was pretty difficult for that to happen. Fisher House wasn't a thing at that time, right? Fast forwarding, I was deployed to Iraq. I wasn't injured, but I had friends that were, and were evacuated home, and a couple of them benefited from the Fisher House, providing a free place to live. All you had to do was get there, and they provided a free place to live while they were getting their treatment. You can't overstate something like that, when someone is hurt and they're far away from home, and someone or something steps in and provides the resources that you didn't otherwise know how you were going to get that, it's a huge thing, and some people, you would think about it and you wouldn't think anything about it because maybe at your point in your life, you have the resources to take care of the things that you need to take care of. Right now, I have the resources to take care of the things I need to take care of. I don't think about it like I used to. But, that's not true for a lot of families. And what the Fisher House does is it takes away a piece of that concern, which is a major piece for allowing loved ones to be there when they're in recovery. Yeah. I don't know how true the statistic is, but when I joined the military, one of the things I heard was most people live within 50 miles wherever they lived when they graduated high school, right? Obviously, the military generally isn't like that because the military sends you everywhere, right? And if you get injured somewhere, how do you get your loved ones there? Well, the Fisher House is part of that solution. So it's just amazing to me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those super special things. I just can't imagine trying to deal with anything of that stature and not having to have, like a place. And I think someone said it earlier, like not like a Motel 6.
Right.
To actually have a place that you can call your home.
Yeah.
You can cook a meal and sit down,
Yeah, and that's the important thing, right? The Fisher House is a house. It's an actual house that you have a room in, you have kitchen facilities. It's a house. It's not even a hotel, right? And that's just amazing.
It's so cool. It's so amazing. Okay. So
You want to jump to 7?
7?
Yeah.
I've got 7. Okay. I have it so zoomed in that I just have like A's and B's.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Why should people and companies support the Fisher House? Redundant, but.
No, I think it's a good question. A lot of people like to support the troops, quote unquote, support the troops. And I can think of no better way of supporting troops than supporting an organization like the Fisher House. Because the Fisher House supports the members of the military who have sacrificed. The Fisher House supports the members of the military that have been injured in combat or injured in the line of duty. And they're at the point where they are in need of support. That's when the Fisher House comes into play. And if you're interested in being a supporter of the military, then you're interested in being a supporter of the Fisher House, The service that it provides cannot be understated. It just can't. When you're injured and you're away from home, the Fisher House provides a method for your family to be there, to be close, and removes all the incidentals that comes with that travel and often long time stay away from home, because you're moving from one home to another home that you can treat like your home, And by the Fisher House providing this at no cost to the military, by supporting the Fisher House, you're basically supporting the military members. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
If you want to hold for the plane.
sure. Yeah, I mean, just having a place to stay, you know, where you don't have to think about it and don't like. I've had
Everything.
family and friends long stays in hospitals, and it's
Sound of
a
freedom.
huge deal.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's so much
She's
stress.
annoyed with the sound of freedom. That's
And
my
so much stress,
favorite,
even when you're at home.
in North Carolina.
If you're at home in the hospital, that's really stressful, right? And then people coming to visit you is always better. If
And
people are,
And you're always on call.
yeah,
You know, like you're like, oh, like I would go wait, wait, 20 minutes out, 10 minutes out. So it's kind of it's super amazing. Okay, so we'll keep moving on. So you want to pop to 8? Do you think that's
Mhm.
it?
Yeah.
Cool. So circling back to earlier, I'd love to hear your perspective on working for a company that provides support and services to veterans.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Circling back to earlier, I'd love to hear your perspective on working for a company that provides support and services to veterans.
So again, I am a veteran. So working for a company that's focused on supporting veterans is just, in a large part, a part of self-interest, right? I think this is another statistic that is in my head, that less than 1% of Americans have served in the military, right? So you're supporting a very select group of people. And these are people that, when you're a member of the military, freedom isn't free. You are giving up portions of your freedom to support freedom, right? And in doing that, you subject yourself to things that the average person isn't subjected to. Deployments have been one of the things that comes to mind, into environments that are less than ideal. I'll put it that way. And allowing your body to be subjected to things that are also less than ideal. And after that service, there are consequences, all right, to those veterans. Things all the way from PTSD to broken parts of your body that don't always heal as well as it should, right? Or as you would like it to. And having organizations like First Nation Group focused on supporting those people it's like saying water's wet. That's just a good thing. I don't know how else to say it. And being able to make my living working for an organization that does that kind of work is just killing several birds with one stone. So I think it's a great thing.
Is there anything else you want to say about First Nation? Or the Fisher House?
Like I said, working at First Nation is the best working environment I've ever been in. Being at a company that's for-profit with non-profit goals is very fulfilling. Organizations like the Fisher House that identified a need, which is, when you're hurt, far away from home, and you need a way for your family to be there with you long term, and meeting that need, being able to support an organization like that, it's very self-fulfilling. It makes me feel like I'm doing good things with my life. So, First Nation Group, the Fisher House, organizations with that kind of purpose, being a part of that, this is exactly where I want to be.